Hey, it's Eric here at Peachtree Classic Cars with a 1954 Chevrolet 3100 short bed truck. And this is a really great running truck. Actually got it from an older gentleman who was keeping it on the road, driving it down to work, his office about 10 miles down the road, 15 miles down the road, pretty regularly, once or twice a week. So she's still on the old foot pedal starter. Every once in a while, I don't know if it's the Bendix in the starter or if it's the flywheel, every once in a while we go to start it and she just does a little whine. Most of the time it does just that. It just fires right up. But I just want to be honest about that. There's been a couple times where I hit that pedal and it kind of wound over but didn't catch, and did about 2 or 3 times and then boom, it catches just like that. This is actually one of the better original driving trucks that I've driven. Somebody took great care to go through it mechanically, keep it on the road. So, steers nice and straight down the road. Get up a little bit more speed. Just like to try not to speed around the neighbors. Actually, speedometer works good. Oil pressure. All the gauges over there work, I think, except for the fuel gauge. Somebody put an aftermarket fuel gauge in, which does work. And then the tachometer, I'm not crazy about that. I was going to take it off, but it's really just one bolt. And then one thing that always throws me off, I've driven this a couple times, and I actually just got done doing the video on the 51, which is a 216 original. What throws me off on this truck, it's got power brakes. And if you just got to learn to drive it, because if you're used to driving a truck like this without the power brakes, you'll go slam those brakes on hard and throw yourself through the windshield. So that being said, you just barely touch these brakes and boy, they stop real easy. Got a brand new power brake kit. So I just pulled her out of the garage. She may still be a little cold. Pop the hood with one hand. Beautiful engine detail. Engine runs like a sewing machine. I'm gonna shut her off so we can hear a little better. Really, really nice and clean under here. Just a nice, beautiful engine detail with a everything really with a fresh coat of paint on it. Looks really nice. Starter was just rebuilt. Had that done by Southern Auto Electric here in Atlanta. And just really nice and clean. Brand new cork on the valve cover there. And you know, this isn't perfect, but it just makes it look really nice. And this is one of those things where you pop the hood, you know, go to a car show and, you know, pop the hood and people want to gather around and see how nice an engine looks when it's done right. So nice clean inner fender wells and firewalls, all rust free. It's like I said, it's not perfect, but it looks good. I think this truck's got a kind of a cool patina to it. It's just, you know, got some old black paint on it that's fading off. And I really just decided to leave it alone. I thought about scuffing it. I thought about painting it. We thought about a lot of things and said, you know what? Let's let the next guy do what he wants to with it. I get a lot of phone calls for 54s. Or first gen 55s, because this is basically a 1 year only truck, a 1.5 year only truck. So I get people who call me and email me all the time saying, hey, the next time you get a 54 in, you know, I always tell people at this point, we just say keep an eye on the website, because usually if I try and keep up with people, by the time I call them with another one, they've maybe found another one, or their wife has talked them out of buying it or whatever. Anyways, all that being said, I didn't want to do anything to this truck because it drives great the way it is, and this is a perfect opportunity for somebody else to grab it up and do with it what you want. You could put your logo on the door and have a shop truck just like it is. Do absolutely nothing to this truck. You could sand it down and paint it. It's got a little bit of rust here and there in it. You could do a patina on it. You could sand it down and let it rust over. I mean, all kinds of things. So but what I love is I think even the windshield wipers work, the horn works. Like I said, I'm not, it was actually super loud the other day. Turn signals work. And like I said, I didn't want to put my own vision on it. And also it saves money. You know, this is a great way to buy into a truck under 15 grand, and these things have just gone through the roof. So a few little spots as you look around the truck, obviously, you know, little spot there, a little crusty, a couple little crusties here and there, but I don't see any rust underneath those spots. Grill looks pretty good. You know, I mean, this is, like I said, kind of a shop truck condition. As you look around and see, obviously the paint is old and faded. There's a crack here, old, somebody did a repair, and if you feel on the back side of it, that's actually steel. Probably just had a bend and somebody did a filler there. That's not uncommon. I think whenever somebody calls and says, hey, does the truck have Bondo in it, or does the car have Bondo in it, anytime somebody says no, they're probably lying. Kind of hate to say that, but these old vehicles, they all have some filler in them. It's just a matter of what we call it. Is it a Bondo bucket? Has it been all filled up, or is it just got a normal amount? And from what I can tell, if I find a bunch of Bondo on a vehicle, I won't buy it. I don't have time for that. This is a pretty common spot for rust to happen. Get down here on the bottom. The bottoms of the doors actually look good. I like seeing those weep holes clean like that. And then even this cab corner, probably repaired a while back, but it seems pretty solid overall, even though it's got that crack there. This step side's in actually really good condition. Only spot of rust is right back here. You know, and the truck does it, you know, it has various little spots here and there. It's an old battery box, looks to be in good shape. Floor pans back underneath. You know, there's your cab corner. I mean, yep. But this cross member here, nice and solid. I mean, that's really important to me. I like seeing that. I mean, I've had them rusty and it's not that big a deal, but look at how clean this is. From underneath is more important to me, really, almost than. And there's your power booster. And somebody put some sealer and stuff on this, maybe a little over seal, got a little overzealous with the sealer on the transmission, but I haven't seen it leaking or anything. So sometimes that happens. People like to overdo it rather than underdo it. And I don't know why they got to use that bright red orange sealer instead of using black, but it is what it is. Inside the rear fender well looks pretty good back here, all the way around. Body's actually pretty straight. Bed sides are nice and straight. You know, things like this. Love that indentation. Great looking tailgate. Inside the bed looks real good. It's not all dented up. And this appears to be probably an older piece of plywood that somebody did. Like I said, I left it alone. I thought, man, we could hit that with a sander. We could make it look new. No, I'm going to let the next guy do that because I want you to do what you want to with it. Now, this is somebody doing this. I see this every once in a while. This is actually not a spare tire truck. It didn't have one. Somebody cut that out and made that. It's not my favorite, but if you put a spare tire on the side of it, it obviously makes it look great. The other thing you can do, of course, is replace the fender. But if it was me, I'd put a spare tire on the side of it, and I actually got a small spare tire holder to go with it, and I just couldn't find I don't have an extra tire right now to put on it because I was going to go ahead and put it on there. But that being said, look at the side of the bed and everything. And if this was my truck, I might go back. This has got some old rallies on it. Look like, you know, 9s in the back and 7s in the front, or 8.5, 8s in the back, 7s in the front, something like that. They're staggered. And obviously, you've got raised white letters on this one and not on this one. Tires seem to have good tread on them. They're old wheels. If it was me, I might go back to the originals. I like the old original wheels with the beauty rings and the hubcaps. That's just the old nostalgic look. Even your weep hole down here, there's a little spot of rust looking down the truck door. Like I said again, I love seeing these weep holes nice and rust free. Step side here in great shape. New muffler and new exhaust. Here's your inner cab corner here. Got some crusties in it, but not awful. It's not all roached out. Floor pan on the driver's side, a couple spots there. I mean, overall, this is a pretty solid undercarriage, quite frankly. This is one of the things that really sold me on the truck. The other thing too is I really love it when I find an old guy who has a truck like this and who's keeping it on the road. You know, when they say I'm driving it, and I can tell when I jump in this truck and I hit that starter and it cranks right up and it drives with plenty of power down the road, and then somebody taking the care to even put the power brakes in. It's got an older, somebody probably did this back in the 70s or 80s, you know, the way that they did this seat cover. You know, it's showing its wear. And again, I know I'm repeating myself, but you know, I got a new seat cover for it and I decided not to put it on. I said, you know, I'm gonna let the next guy do what he wants to. The one thing that bothers me, somebody drilled holes years ago, you can tell this is super old, probably to put a speaker behind there and to have a stereo in here. And so they make a replacement patch kit for this. You just cut it out, Ziz wheel it out, weld the new one in, make it look like it never happened. Again, didn't want to do anything. I know I'm repeating myself. It does have a working heater. I can't remember if it actually does heat the vehicle up. I'm trying to remember if this works or not. Yep. Needs a little dome light there, you know. All the little things. I think I would obviously put an original carpet kit back in it. I actually bought a carpet kit for it, and like I said, decided to say, let's let this one go to the next guy. Let's let you do what you want to do to it. So you can take it any direction you want. I sell a lot of trucks like this to guys, and they say, hey, the first thing I'm about to do is put a V8 in it, and you know, I'm going to put power steering on it. I'm going to do all this stuff. So that's why I got to be real careful. Instead of me casting my own vision on something like this, especially with the 54, you know, these are rare trucks. They're getting more rare. They're getting harder to find. The windows roll up and down good on this one. This is a cool looking truck. It looks great going down the road. I just passed my neighbors. They always give me a thumbs up when they see this truck. And it just wouldn't take much to really, honestly, you could drive it just like it is and do absolutely nothing to it and enjoy it. And of course, enjoy a springtime project, sanding it down, making a shop truck out of it, or doing whatever it is that you like to do. Give us a call, PeachTreeClassicCars.com.